loves, welcome back. It's me, Jenny. How is everyone doing today? My loves, today I'm going to demonstrate to you guys how I create my junk journal, because someone had asked me how I put them together, and I'll be honest with you, I literally am not one of those people that can actually sit here and tell you the proper way of doing this. I went with my eyes blind when I put this junk journal together, this junk journaling loveliness over here. I really didn't follow any rules. I just kind of put it together, poked a hole, and I call it a day. I don't know exactly how I even did this. I literally was just not even thinking about it and just trying to put it together. So I'm going to do the same thing with this, okay? So this is not really going to be something that you can really take to heart. Honestly, this is not the right way of doing this. I know this, and I can tell you right now that this is absolutely not the right way of putting these junk journals together. I'm not using the proper tools, nor am I using the proper terminology. I literally am not doing any of that. But I do want to show you how I do it because, you know, for me, it came out fine and I can use it and I'm okay with it. And maybe for you, you'll be okay as well. So the first thing that you need is actually these envelopes. These are just junk mail envelopes. Literally, they come like this. Okay, I put together a few here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and all I do is I first think about the size that I want my journal to look like. I already calculated that I want this size. I cut all my envelopes to that size. And literally just create yourself a little kind of like a booklet, okay? This is another one that I have here. So what I do is literally I just match it to each other. And I don't measure absolutely anything. I literally just go with my eyes closed, okay? Boom. Don't throw these away because you can use these little stamps as ephemeras. And just like that, I created myself a nice little page. On this end, just use a scissor and do like a little tiny slitter because that's going to allow you to open your page just like that, okay? If you want to go in and you want to cut these like extra papers, you can. You want to make this a little bit more neater, you're also welcome to do that. Sometimes you don't want to do that. Sometimes you want to leave it the way it is. You want to come in here, you want to make this a little bit more neat, then go right ahead. But that is literally how I create my little booklet. Okay. And this is going to be part of my little booklet in here. And that's literally how I put these together, okay? Now, when it comes to the cover, I like to use these Amazon package that I get. I kind of save them because I think they're fun to use and, you know, recycle. They're free. Why not? Cut it to the size that you want, okay? Make sure you open your pages or your little booklet. Let's call this booklet, okay? And make sure you measure how big you want your album to be, okay? Once you measure them, then you can just cut it to the size and then you can basically create your own little envelope, okay? This is the size of my envelope. This is the size of my album, okay? I cut the size. I always give myself some room because if I need to, like, you can always cut, but if you cut too short, then you're screwed. So give yourself some room. And then I'm going to fold this in half, and this is actually what is going to create my little book. Okay, so you're going to go here in the middle, and that's literally what is going to be what I'm going to create as my little booklet. Okay, if you want to cut because you think this is too long, you're welcome to. If you don't want to, you can leave it alone, okay? But that's literally how I put these pages together. Now, let's see here. Just making sure this looks a little bit crooked. So I'm just going to come in. You can use a scissor if you want. I don't use scissors. I'm just... Okay. All right. So just make sure you look and see. That looks perfect to me. That works for me perfectly. All right, I'm probably going to flip it this way though because I kind of want this plain side so that I could decorate the front cover. So that's, yeah, that's exactly what I'm looking for. Okay, perfect. Okay, so we got that going. Yes, you have your little booklet put together. just take some random papers and just keep adding them. I don't put too much because what happens is I don't have the proper tools, and if I make this too thick, then what I'm using to create my hole will be impossible. So I will show you how I add pages after I bind this together to the side of to this little seam right here of the paper packaging. Okay, so I feel like this is pretty okay. I don't think I want to add any more papers to it right now. I do maybe later, but not at the moment. Okay, so let's bind this together so you can see how unprofessional I put this together. I use twine. You can use whatever you want. Okay, twine is probably not the best thing that you can use because, and I try to kind of like measure two, I do like 5, 3, maybe 4. Maybe 4 is okay. I'll be honest with you, twine would not be the great thing to use because the twine, when you put it in here and you put it through the holes, it kind of like falls apart. It makes it a little bit difficult for you to kind of put together. You know, use your judgment. I would probably use like a yarn or like something more easier to kind of maneuver. I just picked twine because that's the only thing I have handy. I didn't want to go into the garage and look for other, you know, materials. I just kind of wanted to get this over with and do it. I'm like kind of compulsive like that, and so, you know, it is what it is, right? That's how I am. Okay, so this is what I'm gonna do. I really don't do anything. I don't measure anything. Okay, I know that I want to make 3 little holes here. I don't even know how, but I will tell you. I will literally poke a hole on one end here with this gigantic needle that I don't even know where I got this from. And then I'm going to literally find where I want to poke a hole on my packing tape or packaging. Okay. And then what I do is find the hole again. And I'm telling you, this is not the proper way of doing this, but you asked me to show you, I'm gonna show you, okay? Poke a hole through. Go one through the end. And this is gonna be hard because this twine is gonna be difficult to poke through, so you're just gonna have to play around with it, maneuver around with it, okay? And just maneuver it around. I make it like, there we go. Okay, perfect. There you go. Okay, now I'm going to take one of these out. Okay, just like that. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other end. Okay, making sure that this is kind of straight. You can always use like something like this if you want to make it like, you know, straight. All right, so this is going to be loose. Okay. Okay, perfect. I'm going to tuck this a little bit so I have a lot of space here to play around with. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back in the middle. I don't measure nothing. I don't know exactly if I'm been poking this correctly, but this is what I do, okay? This is literally what I do. Okay. Push this in. Make sure it's nice and tight. Okay. Now, you could go back this way and then go back that way. I'll be honest with you, I tried to do that before and it didn't really work for me, but maybe we can try to do it now, yeah? Go back on the same hole, okay? And come out to this end and make sure you put like a nice little tightness there, okay? And then I guess you can go back on the same hole. I didn't do it like that with my other one. I don't know how I did the other one, but Okay, and then you can go back on this end right here, make another little hole right here. This actually is going to hold, this is actually going to hold better than the one that I did the first time, because I don't think I did this like, this one I think I just binded like 1, 2, and 3. I didn't go in and out like I did with this one. Okay, see that? Boom. Now what we can do is go back to the middle. Okay, and then you can tie these together if you want, okay? Here. You can make it a little bit tight. Don't make it too tight because you don't want this to be too tight. Make sure that when you close it, it looks decent, yeah? Okay, good. And then you can just make a nice little tight knot here. I don't like cutting the extra twine because I like to use it for charm holdings. So I kind of like that I have extra twine to play around with, okay? And I can just make it a little bit short because this is literally too long. And I'll just leave that hanging there so I can actually use this as charm. Or I can put it this way like that as well, and it'll hang in like that, okay? And that is literally what I do with my cover. I mean, literally. This is literally how I put this together. I know, it's totally insane, but it works for me. I'm not really such a good person when it comes to like directions. And so it just makes it easier for me to kind of put together, okay? Now, you can use packing tape if you want. And I can do that if you want. I usually use the packing tape, and I usually kind of do like a little bit of packing tape so it can kind of stay together. If you want. And I don't really literally take like a lot, but I kind of like make sure that how you want this to be. Mine is going to be hanging. I'll probably hang this like that. Okay, and I'm just going to put a little bit of packing tape right here. Okay, and that kind of just gives it a little bit of security for me and my craziness of like understanding that might help a little bit. I don't know if it does, but for me it works. Okay, and this is literally how I put together this cute little this cute tiny little, you can put packing tape back here if you want as well, but literally guys, that's how I put this together. I know it's crazy, it's not even like the proper way of doing it, but this is literally how I put it together. I can actually flip this over if I want so that this can actually hang up here, okay? And then I can start working on my envelopes and I can start adding things to it. Now,